And all right, we are recording. That's good in the cloud.
Okay.
Now I can see the attendees started to join. That's good.
Okay.
I can see that right here. Now let's get started. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Welcome
Should I
everyone.
start?
Oh, let me just starting with the introduction
Yeah.
first, and then you can go after that. No problem.
Mhm.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Starting. Mhm.
Welcome everyone to the 2020 APEC Groundbreakers Virtual Tour by Apaco UC. This year, our event will be the biggest one ever done with 174 sessions, including normal sessions, workshops, and hands-on labs from 123 different speakers over 11 days. Also, it will cover sessions on 4 different languages. Please remember to register as many sessions you can, and all sessions will be available to replay as many times you want for 2 weeks after the initial date and time. You can also interact with the speaker at any time during the 2 weeks by posting questions or comments directly in the Paybacks session page. I would like to say thanks to our Oracle user groups and Java user groups that made this event possible, and also to our sponsors, Oracle Groundbreakers and CloudDB. Now for today's session, Empowering Oracle e-Business Suite with Enterprise Command Centers Dashboards by Venkanna Mittakanti. Hopefully I have spelled that properly. Please feel
Mhm.
free to write questions at any time during this session at the Q&A tab of the Zoom webinar, and the speaker will be answer your questions at the end of the session. If any issues during the presentation, please feel free to let me know as the moderator at any time by using the chat tab in the Zoom webinar. Now, without any more delays, I would like to leave you with this amazing session by Venkanna Mittakanti. And Venkanna,
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
can take control of the and share your screen. And thank you so much for
Okay.
presenting here today.
Yeah. Francisco, can you see my screen now?
Let me check. It's just a little bit slow. And not yet. Was
Not yet.
able before when you are doing that.
Sure. No, I think I haven't
Oh,
actually.
now I can see it.
Okay. Can you see my screen now? The
Yes,
presentation view?
yes.
Okay.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I will put
Thank you,
myself
Francis.
on mute and you can start.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Francisco, for the introduction. Thank you, guys, for the joining the session. So I'm going to cover today about the Oracle Enterprise Command Centers and about me. I'm Venkanna Mittakanti. I'm an Oracle ACE. I have over 22 years of experience with the Oracle EBS and Oracle technologies, focusing on implementing, designing, developing, and maintaining of Oracle EBS e-business applications since 2002. I've been specializing in supply chain modules since 2013. I worked as the EBS developer at Oracle Corporation almost 7 years, and currently I'm the lead Oracle application analyst at Siemens Corporation. I'm actively involved in the Oracle applications and technology user group and holding board positions in the regional user groups and special interest groups. So I'm the board member for in Texas Louisiana Oracle application user group. Then secondly, I'm the board member in procurement, emerging technologies, and UMX user management and role-based access control special interest groups. And secondly, I write the ERP blog as well, and my blog URL is at www.vm, my first name and first name, followed by my first letter, last name, first letter for my last name, -oracle.com. See, I've been focusing on writing articles on Oracle EBS release 12.2 functionality, and then the emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, IoT, and robotic process automation, I've written a couple of articles in the cloud ERP, but not much. But I'm planning to focus more on the ERP cloud going further. And agenda for the session today. So I'm going to overview the Oracle EBS Enterprise Command Centers and key features, and how the EBS integration and security works with the Enterprise Command Centers. And we'll take a look at the Procurement Command Center dashboards, Order Management Command Center dashboard, and then available ECC dashboards across the e-business suite, and what are the advantages or benefits of using the EBS Enterprise Command Center dashboards. So in today's session, I'm going to focus primarily from the business perspective, how the enterprise command centers are going to help. It's not, I will, how the users are going to benefit when they use the ECC tool, on their day-to-day operations. If the time permits, then I will talk about the ECC Framework Architecture and how do you extend the ECC dashboards. Then we will go for Q&A session at the end. So, like any of the Oracle EBS implementation, what we do is we develop a lot of custom reports. There are certain reports, seeded reports comes out of the standard Oracle EBS seeded reports, but those reports are not usable for business. As per the customer business requirements, none of the seeded report which comes out of the box, they are not usable for the users. So that's the reason mostly, either we develop the custom report as per the customer, client business requirements, or we use some type of third-party tools which are available in the market for reporting, like Bleach or Orbit or Noetics or more perhaps, and there are a lot of vendors in the market. And when we use these third-party tools, exactly it won't satisfy the customer requirement. And that is a challenge. And when we develop the custom reports, there are two things. One is the development effort is involved, and the cost is also associated with the development. And just I'll tell you about my story. Our EBS story at my company. We have around 8,000 users. We almost developed around around 30 to 40 reports in the procurement area, another 30 to 40 reports in the order management, then around 30 plus reports in the manufacturing, maybe finance. We developed more than 50 reports. In most of the reports we developed either using the Oracle Discoverer or XML Publisher or the Oracle reports. So there is a lot of custom reporting we did, but and secondly, on top of the custom reporting from the user point of view, when he runs the report, he has to run the reports from the Oracle Discoverer. He has to run some concurrent program. Then he has to export the data into Excel. Then he has to use the Access database or merge the reports to get what he really is looking for. It is a very cumbersome process, and that is the reason Oracle came up with the product called Oracle Enterprise Command Center. So the product is trying to help the user what should work on next. When he comes to the work, what is his priority task? Where should he focus on his day-to-day operations? Which are the high priority, urgent tasks, and which are the low priority, and how can he improve the process? So that's they are trying to address these issues using the Enterprise Command Center dashboards. ECC dashboards are fully integrated with Oracle EBS to enable enterprises to optimize operational decisions and improve the process efficiencies with real-time access to the operational data and driving better cost and revenue decisions. ECC dashboards enable information-driven technology to help user focus on the right information at the right time to make the right decision. So user can browse and drill on key indicators, charts, and graphs, and they can use the consumer-like search filters similar to what we do in Amazon or eBay. Let's say if I'm looking for monitor, I'll search for monitor. Then I'm looking for who are all the vendors for that. I will choose certain vendors like a Dell, HP. I will filter on the. I can put another filter on the vendor. Then I can put on a filter on the price range and the review rating and those filters. Similar to the consumer like search and filters, in ECC dashboards, you can put a filter on the transactional header information, transaction line information, or if the transaction drill down to further level, we can put a search on different fields. So every time you put a drill on key indicators, or when you apply the filter, the display data is recalculated with each drill. So it is like a conversation with the data. You ask the question, then it will give the answer. So let's say I am the procurement guy. I'm asking how many open requisitions I have. So then it will say that open requisitions means which are not yet converted to the POs. Then it will say that, okay, you have 15 in your queue. So, and then I will ask another question. What is the need by date? Are there any requisitions falls in the next 2 weeks time, next 15 days? Then it will say that, okay, we have another 5 equations which you needed those parts by within the next 2 weeks. It's like we are asking the question, it is giving the information. Then we are narrow down the search so that we have the few transactions to focus on. Then once you have the narrow down the search and filter to the most important transactions, we can take an action, or not me, but there's a user or the buyer, you can take an action on the important transaction. Either you can convert it to the POs, or you can cancel the requisitions. You can do that. See, the dashboards are action driven. It provides an information discovery, visualization, and exploration capabilities embedded within Oracle EBS user interface. So ECC comes with an out-of-the-box which will help you to get started very quickly without any training. So what does it mean is like when we apply the patches in Oracle EBS environment, see the ECC comes. Other than that, there is no functional configuration or there is no technical work. So that dashboards, once we apply the patch and DBA has completed their task, the ECC dashboards are ready to use for the end user. And ECC dashboards are the similar to the OA framework pages. It is self-explanatory to use them without any training. Enterprise command centers are delivered with the EBS release 12.2.4 and higher versions only. So only we cannot use for release 12.1.3. You have to be minimum EBS release 12.2.4, or if you have a higher version, then it's fine. And the good thing about the enterprise command center is there is no additional licensing needed. If you are a EBS customer, you are free to use enterprise command center dashboards. So far, Oracle has released around 30 enterprise command centers comprising 106 dashboards. So when you say command center, like account payables is one command center, account receivables is another command center, procurement is another command center. But within the command center, you can have a multiple dashboard. In procurement command center, we have the requisition dashboard, we have the orders dashboard, agreements, then the supplier dashboard, item analysis. There are different dashboards, but it is all these dashboards within procurement they call as a procurement command center. So every module they came up with one command center, and it has a multilingual support. So what does it mean? When the user logs in from US or Australia, they can see the report in English. If the French user logs in, they can see in their local language. And then on top of that, we can extensible with ECC framework. We can extend the ECC dashboards. So now if you see this is the sample ECC dashboard page. Is users navigates in transactional information using the interactive visual components. Like if I have here the key indicators, when I click on that one, this page is recalculated. Then or when I click on the graph, let us say it is showing the graph for I cannot see here we cannot see all the information here, but let us say it was showing for the by inventory org or by supplier. When you click on that particular color, then it will show the transaction related to that particular part of the graph. And the other thing is, then we can have the guided discovery So what does it mean? Means we can apply the filters like consumer-like filters here. They're the header level, line level, shipment level, and distribution level. And this, when we drill down further, we are able to drill down to the detailed insight, detailed transactions data. Once you look into the transaction, then you can take an action. Either either you can view the transaction, or you can convert the transaction to the the successor. What will be the next transaction for that particular one, or you can change some data in the existing transaction. So the key features, it is an information discovery. So we have a lot of data in Oracle EBS data, but users, we have to show the data to the readable format to the end user so that they can focus on their day-to-day activities and improving the processes. It has advanced search capabilities. The ECC is all about embedded analytics. It is almost a coverage for almost all the financial, supply chain, and HCM modules coverage, and supports for various user roles. And and then it has a seamless UI integration. So what does it mean? Means you can directly navigate from the enterprise command center to the self-service or the OA framework pages or the core forms. It is secured by EBS EBS security. So the responsibility has access to the multiple operating multi-org. It has a multi-org access. Then we can see the data from the from the enterprise command center also from the multiple operating units, and it is extensible. We can extend the dashboards and add additional data elements. We can create a new dashboards as well. And additional key features, saved searches. So let us say I am the buyer. I created my search criteria as a filter to like a buyer name is equal to my name. Then I'm looking the requisitions which are need by date falls into next 30 days. I have another filter. Then make sure that I am interested only the requisitions which are eligible to be converted to the POs. So I created my search criteria. I can save it. So next day when I come to the work, I can use the existing search rather than every time I applying the filters. Then you can export the data to Excel in CSV format. And the command centers has a support, it has a descriptive flexible support. So in the results page, when we look into the here in the, let me put this into, okay. So when we look into the transactional details here, we can see the descriptive flexibles information here. On top of that, Oracle provided to apply the filters also on the descriptive flexibles. So, and record details, we can see the record details and improved result table pagination. And now we can apply the refinement at the header level or line level, or the, depending on the action, depending on the transaction. Then the bulk action. So what does it mean? Means certain dashboards, you can select the multiple headers or multiple lines. Either you can open those transactions in the purchase order summary or order organizer screen, or depending on the transaction. Or some cases you can cancel the transaction if it allows. And forms integration, so you can directly from the enterprise command center, you can open the transaction in the Oracle core forms. And then online data load. It's not really online, but I'll touch base with you when we talk about the data load. I have a separate slide for that one. So integration and security, how it works. ECC pages are within EBS menu navigation. So it is part of the main menu for the particular responsibility. We can drill down to the transactional pages like forms and OA framework pages to take an action, either create a transaction or update some details in that particular transaction. Depending on the transaction, we can take a next action on that one. It harnesses the EBS security. It harnesses the functional security and the data security at the record level. So the security works basically, one is the multi-arc access control. Then on top of that, we have the, we will use the user management to grant the roles to the responsibility. Then permission sets, we will grant the access permission sets to grant the pages access to particular role. and procure. So now we'll talk about the procurement command center. See, the primary purpose of the procurement command center is to help the buyer or commodity manager to improve their day-to-day operation activities. So it optimizes the procurement operations, content management, and supplier relationships. So it can expedite the procurement operations using the procurement command center. So take corrective action on exceptions, like if you have any POs or incomplete status, you can go ahead and submit for approval. If the you can manage the due dates, the dates like the need by date or promise date on the PO, and improve catalog content and buying behavior. Then on top of that, we can we can evaluate the supplier. We can get the supplier matrix information to evaluate who is the right supplier to buy this particular part, how is their performance. When they say performance, one is the deliverable times and quality. We can have a different performance criteria to evaluate the suppliers. Once you figure out that which one is the right supplier, you can use that supplier and place the purchase order or RFQ. So procurement command center has multiple dashboards, requisitions, purchase orders, agreements, sourcing, indirect procurement, supplier analysis, and item analysis. So today I'm not going to cover all the dashboards, but I will touch base the requisitions, purchase orders, and agreements dashboards. So if any of the enterprise command center dashboard page, it has the matrix information. This is the top area. This is called matrix. Now, when you see that, it will show the key indicators here. And then you have the charts, the graphs here. Then you have the results page. It will show the delivery information and the lines. If it is the transaction is further drilled down, it will show the distributions and shipments and all. This is the results page. And this is called a refinement search. Here you can apply the filters at the header level, line detail, the other if the transaction has the shipments and the distributions. And if you see in the top, there is something called global search. Here is a blind search. Here you are applying the search in the refinement search at the column level. But if you see that at the top, you are applying the blind search. I can simply search particular requisition number, or I can search with the by buyer name. Then it will bring up all the requisitions related to that particular buyer. So in the requisition dashboard, this primarily helps the buyers and the category manager. So the primary objective of the requisition dashboard is to ensure all the requisitions are fulfilled in timely manner. So they can manage the work queue by acting on the requisition based on the priority, check if the requisition line can be fulfilled using an existing catalog, find the best supplier for the request, and manage workload by reassigning the requisitions within the team. Right, so we can, let us say, if the one particular buyer queue, if we have too many requisition lines are sitting, we can distribute the workload as well. We can distribute the work. So when I look into the requisition dashboard here in the matrix page, it is showing that in pool. So it's the number is 773. So it means that there are 773 requisition lines which are created and approved, but they are not yet converted to the purchase order. So they are all has to be converted to the POs. And if you see the another key indicator, it says that 180 unassigned requisitions. It means these requisitions also is part of the in pool, the requisition lines, but they don't have any buyer information. So it means these requisition lines which won't show any of the buyer's queue. So this has to be reassigned. Then it says that there are two urgent requisitions which needs immediate attention from the buyer or the commodity manager. And there are requisitions to be processed. It means their need by date falls within the next 30 days. Though totally, in this particular scenario, it has a 221 requisitions which have a need by date in the next 30 days. So, and this is the graph. It shows that need by date in the past 3 months, how many we have, count. Next 15 days, after 15 days, this count. And here it is showing by this graph by delivery to location. what is saying that 50% of the requisitions has to go to the Seattle manufacturing location. There has to be receiving location. This is the graph here by delivery to location information. And so here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the review urgent requisitions. So when I click on the urgent requisitions here in the key indicator, it is going to show the related information related to the urgent requisitions. It says that one requisition falls the need by date in the last 3 months. That is already passed, and the next another requisition falls the need by date in the next 15 days, and both the requisition has to be delivered to the New York location. Once the supplier has to ship those parts to the New York location. And if you see in the results page, it will show those requisition information and header. And similarly, we can see the lines and details. And when I click on the key indicator like urgent requisitions, I clicked on that. And then I think I applied in this scenario, I applied unassigned requisitions also. Within the urgent, I'm looking into unassigned requisitions. So automatically those filters, when I click on the key indicators, automatically those filters shows up in the refinement search criteria. It says that requisitions urgent flag is equal to Y. Then requisitions in pool flag means they are not yet converted to the POs, and the buyer information is these requisition lines or requisitions, they don't have the buyer information. Similarly, if I go to the lines, this is the information. It will show the need by date, and I have action items. I can analyze the supplier or I can analyze the item. So when I say analyze supplier, what it is going to do is it will bring back another page. It will bring the item information. It will put automatically the filter by particular item number or part number. Then it will put the catalog also. It will show the list of suppliers who are going to supply that particular item. Right? It will show, and it is giving some type of performance also here, how their quality ratings are. It is giving the different suppliers and their quality rating for the last 12 months. Similarly, if you click on the here it is in the bottom, in the middle of the page, it is going to list all the suppliers who are going to supply that particular part. And if I go to the procurement history, it will show different matrix information about their performances, how they performed in the past based on the total spend or different performance criteria. And so then it will show all the suppliers who are going to supply those particular items, and then it will show if they have any open any POs we already placed with these suppliers. It will list when the moment I select the supplier, it will list a list of the supplier POs which are we already created for that particular part. And secondly, if you have any agreements with that particular supplier to source those parts, it will show the agreements as well. Then, so here for this particular part, already what I decided is I'm looking for a monitor. So I decided to source this particular monitor from the Dell computers. So what I can do is I can select my Dell computer supply here. When you click on here, then action item, there is an option to add to the document builder. So once I add it to the document builder, we can go back to the top of the page, and you can see that there is an option here to access the document builder. When you click on the document builder, it will bring up this page to create a PO or RFQ. So I can choose the type, what type of transaction I would like to create from that particular requisition line item. So here I'm going to create a PO, but there is an option to create RFQ as well. Then it will show the supplier information here. If there is any agreements with that particular supplier, it will show the agreement as well. Then the lines information. When you create a document, when you go to the next page, it will show the PO information in incomplete status. It has a headers, lines, shipments and distribution. You can review all the information on this transaction similar to when the buyer creates the PO from the auto create to the standard purchase order form. And then you can submit it. Once it's submitted, you have already number, purchase order number. It will go for the approval process. So that is about the requisition dashboards. And the other one is the orders dashboard. this is primary purpose is to for the buyer. The buyers can use the orders dashboard, so they can take a corrective action on exception before they affect the business task, affect the business. And the different operations what they can do on this orders dashboard is work with suppliers to get the shipments and deliverables on time, manage work queue by prioritizing orders based on the status, pending status request, review time spent on different life cycles of orders, and take an action to reduce it. So the orders dashboard, I have key indicators like orders to watch. So what does it mean? Orders to watch mean these are the POs which are in required reapproval, or they are waiting for the buyer's acceptance process. Then these are the overdue shipments. It means the open shipments that have the need by date in the past. They were supposed to be delivered last week or last month. They are not yet delivered yet. The one shipment due, it means the need by date falls in the next 15 days. And overdue deliverables, it means that open deliverables with a due date in the past. This invoice on hold. So invoices with a payment on hold. This means the invoices are already created, but they are not yet paid because invoices on hold on that one. So the buyer can see that what type of hold it is, then he can communicate with the AP invoice team to release those holds and pay the supplier. So now I'm going to the I'm clicking on the orders to watch key indicator. So when I click on this one, this particular graphs will be recalculated, and it will say that how many orders are different statuses requires reapproval. The other status it will show at the waiting for the one is the request reapproval, another one is the change acceptance process. And if you see here, these two are the requires reapproval, and that is about the orders to watch. Either he can submit for the approval, or he can accept the change. If it is somebody made the change to the supplier portal, it is waiting for the buyer's acceptance process. So orders main page. The other one is we have key indicator is called overdue shipments. It means these are the shipment due in the past. They are supposed to be delivered long back, but they are not yet delivered. So we can look into the details. What is their need by date? So let us say if you see something which is 6 months back. So do they really need that particular part? If needed, then we can work with the supplier, set the expectations, when it has to be delivered. So let us say we don't need that part anymore. Then we can cancel directly from here, from command center. You can you can select the shipment here, and from here you can cancel the shipment directly. If some cases you need to adjust the need by date, so you can select the transaction, the line here. There is an option to view, and once I think there is an option to click on this particular line. It automatically opens in the PO page. It opens the HTML page opening the purchase order. From there you can edit it, you can update the purchase order and change the need by dates. And agreements main page, this is to maintain the agreements. So primarily it helps you to extend the if any of the agreements are expiring soon, they are going to be listed here, or either any of the agreements are reaching their maximum approval limits, those also going to be listed here. So it needs a buyer attention on those agreements, either to extend the agreement or renegotiate with the buyer for the to enhance that particular agreement. So when now I'm going to click on the agreements to watch, or maybe I will look into the key indicator expiring agreements. When I click on the expiring agreement, it will show the agreements which are expired already, or which are going to be which will be expiring soon. It will list those agreements. Then from there, what we can do, we can view those agreements. When you click on the agreements, it will show this particular page, and you can click on the update button, and you work with supplier in the offline, then you extend this contract agreement or the blanket agreement, right? And that's all about the agreements dashboard. So now I'm going to cover about the order management command center. See, the primary purpose of the order management command center to help the customer service representative, right? It helps to, the objective is ensure orders are fulfilled in a timely manner. So it helps you to meet your revenue goals. So how does it help? Let us say we can identify the orders from the order command center that can be shipped earlier than what we requested, so that we can recognize the revenue in the current month or current quarter, and proactively remove the fulfillment obstacles. You know, uh, selecting the right carrier, or let us say where to changing the source warehouse information and all, and increasing the customer satisfaction. So overall, the bottom line is to improve, ship the parts on time and increase the customer satisfaction. And so the orders dashboard main page, it looks like this one here. So here, when you see here, it says that 14 orders are in draft status. It means the orders are in entered, they are not yet booked. And 7 orders are with alerts. Since they have some type of hold, either they have a credit check hold or pricing hold, some type of hold they have. Then they have 19 late. It means they have the request date in the past. They are supposed to be shipped to the customer, uh, yesterday or day before yesterday according to their request date, but they are not yet shipped. So it requires the customer service representative immediate attention, so that he can work with the customer, because customer might be, these parts is expecting long back, but they haven't received it. So he has to work with the customer and set the expectation correctly. And these are the open. Open means these are the orders to be, they are booked, but they are not yet shipped yet. They are in process. So just here I'm showing the orders dashboard. First one is order level. Then I'm looking the customer view. So when I click on the customers tab, it will show that by customer how many orders we have with alerts and without alerts. And so I talked about the drafts. So the draft means these are orders are entered, but they are not yet booked. So what the CSR, customer service representative, can do is you can open the draft status orders from here, from the dashboard. You can click on the update icon, and you can review this is the header page and this is a line. Then you can update the order. When you click on the update icon from here, it will show the order information in the HTML page. Then from here, you can review the order, make sure that he has all the information he needed. Then he can go ahead and book the order from the command center itself. So you don't need to go to order screen, either HTML screen or separately. You can access directly from the command center. Similarly, the alerts also important, because it increases the cycle time. If you don't release the alerts on time, so we are making a delay in the shipping the particular product. So you can, the CSR, the customer service representative, you can look into the alerts. And so let's say when I click on the alerts key indicator, it will show the alerts by the customer here. And we can do some analysis also. Like if you see this particular customer, we have almost all the orders are with alerts. We should understand why every order has a hold. Is there something that we can do to improve the operation efficiency, or it is intended that we want to put a credit hold for every order which comes from this particular customer? And then when we go into details from one of the orders, we can open that order to see that what type of hold it has. So then if you go there, it will show that it has a on hold. Yes, when you click on the on hold, then it will show that what type of hold it has. This one shows us that it has the credit hold. And the user can release the hold also from here without going back to the order organizer screen. Similarly, this is another key indicator, the orders which we missed the request date, which we promised that we will deliver it in the past, but we didn't do. So that is the information it shows. So this one's either there is an option here to open this particular order lines in the order organizer screen. So this is where it comes to bulk action. I can select the multiple orders from here, and I can inside launch order organizer. These all orders are open in the order organizer screen. And the other one, open, these are the booked orders that are in progress. So we can always see that, for the month end and quarter end, we can look into all the open orders, which are the parts are ready. We can go ahead and ship it so that we can recognize the revenue in the current month cycle. So that's about the order dashboard. And in Oracle EBS, this is we have totally 30 command centers. This one I came from 12.2.9 slide, but with the release 12.2.10, we have 30 command centers and totally 1069 dashboards across the EBS applications. We have the dashboards in financial area, procurement, order management, manufacturing, asset life cycle and services, and HCM, human capital management. So what are the benefits of ECC? So the primary benefits are identify and act on top priorities without custom operational reporting. Access dashboards from mobile or desktop devices and with high performance. We can deploy rapidly with no change to the Oracle EBS database. So I think when I touch base with you, Oracle ECC, the ECC Framework Architecture, you will understand that the data is not coming from the EBS database. And it is easy to deploy, just to work for the DBA, so then it's ready to use for the end user. And it is a leverage out of the box UI, and security integration is quicker for the user to adopt the tool, the dashboards, and flexibly meet the new business requirements through the configuration instead of coding. So there is no coding required, even the functional user can enhance the dashboards.
Hi, Venkanna.
And customer, yeah.
Just to let you know, you have 5 more minutes.
Sure. So I'm going to quickly cover about the ECC. These are the primary benefits of ECC. It's easy to use for the user. They get the key information what they are looking, priority transactions and how to improve the process. What are the tasks to work on? That's the good thing about it, is like if I am a user, if I come to work, it will show me what are the tasks I should work on. What are the high priority tasks? What are the medium priority? What are the low priority? And ECC Framework Architecture, I'm going to quickly run through. So in the architecture, we have 3 layers. Interactive user interface, this is the end user layer where you see the dashboard. This is the service layer and the ECC core engine. These two are sitting in the middle tier application server. The ECC core engine has actually the data. So when we run the data extracts, it gets the data from the Oracle EBS e-business and it digests into the core engine. And the service layer, it gets the data from the core engine. The communication happens between the end user and the core engine through the service layer. So this is where we create the data sets and responsive back to the end user actions. So if you see that, this is the Oracle EBS database, and this is the application server. And ECC is either it can sit in the same application server or it can have its own dedicated server depending on your application or database size. This is the client. And so the deployment structure, this is the ECC middleware ECC server. We have the WebLogic, admin domain, and managed servers. It has to be Linux 7. So let's say if you are using the Sun Solaris or any other OS, you cannot implement the ECC in Sun Solaris OS, but you can have a Linux separate dedicated server and then integrate with the Sun Solaris OS application server. So the data load process. So initially, when the ECC product is released, we used to run this ECC run data load program. They're given only one program to run the data extract, and these are the data extracted from the EBS database and digested into the core engine, ECC core engine. But later, every product came up with their own programs, rather than here we are passing the product name and then the options whether you to run the full load or incremental load or metadata load. So initial first time you run the full load, but on daily basis you put it the incremental load. So the metadata load option is like if you have any custom like the descriptive flexible fields, because those are custom specific. So metadata load, it pulls the descriptive flexible information or any customer specific information. And as I mentioned earlier, the later releases of the ECC, it came with every product came with their own concurrent programs to run the data extract program. Like the PO has a PO PCC, ECC data load, and supplier analysis data load, OM command center data load. So these programs, first time you run for all data full load, then you will run for the incremental load. You schedule the process depending on your business requirement, how frequently you want to see the real-time data. Either you can schedule it every 2 hours or every 4 hours, depending on your business requirement. Or maybe sometimes it's 1 hour. These are very quick processes. And what is what is possible with the ECC dashboard, what is not possible. You can extend an existing dashboard. You can create a new dashboard as well. Or you can the other one is you can extend an existing data set. What is out of scope? You cannot create a new data set. That is out of the scope. Only Oracle can create the new data set. We cannot create a new command center. We can create a new dashboard, but you cannot come up with a one. Let us say I have the product called shipping module. Let us say if Oracle didn't release the shipping module command center, we cannot build our own. If they have provided the framework, then we can enhance it. Then the data has to come from the Oracle EBS business database only. So we cannot pull the data, external files or any legacy system data. So these are the how do you extend the dashboards. Just I will run through quickly. You will copy or create the ECC page, then you create the FND function similar to any of the forms and application OA framework pages. Then you grant access to the FND function, then personalize the OA page UI, find the new page. Then from the ECC, so there are Oracle provides the two responsibilities: ECC developer and ECC administrator. ECC developer is to for the enhancing the dashboards. The admin is to run the program from the administration purposes. So I'm not going to cover detail in extending the dashboards, but here you can see the what are the dashboards we have, what are the OA framework pages for that particular dashboard, and then what are the data sets we have. The requisition, it comes from his own data set. Agreement set comes from own data set. Within the data set, we can see what are the data elements already defined, and if you want to add any additional data elements also, you can add the data elements. You can customize it to add a new data elements. And then this is an option to the way you migrate from one instance to, if you create any dashboard or if you are enhance the dashboard, you have to export the dashboard from the current instance, then import it to on the target instance. So these are the three nodes we have in Oracle support. One is for the installation. For first one for related to the installation. The third one is to how to extend the enterprise command center dashboard. This is almost like a 115-page document. It has a very detailed information. I guess I'm going to share this presentation document. Maybe you can view this note numbers later. And about the Oracle ACE program, just the Oracle ACE program, they gives the 3-level. They recognize the contributors at the 3-level: ACE Associate and Oracle ACE and Oracle ACE Director. You can go through the website to get the more information about Oracle ACE program. So that's all I plan to cover in this session. So I guess we can stop here and we can take any questions from the participants. Francisco.
That's correct. I have not seen any questions in the Q&A tab. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to add them to the Q&A tab of the webinar. Let's just give you a few more seconds to see if anyone put any questions. And if
Okay.
not, that we are ready.
Okay.
Let's see. No questions. Yep. Looks like, Venkanna, we have no questions at all. If, by the way, this session will playback will be available for the next couple of weeks. That means if anyone watching this playback want to make any questions to Venkanna, you can also post and interact with him on his session playback page.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Venkanna, for being here today.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Francisco. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to share my knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.